What's up, YouTube streets? It's the voice of the trenches. I speak facts, not rumors, and I got a whole lot of shit to speak on. What's right is right, what's wrong is wrong. I'm him, not them, and I'm not scared to say what everybody else scared to say. Today, I'm speaking on LOVELLE MIXON, a life of a cop killer. Lovell shot and killed 5 or 4 police officers. This happened March 21st in East Oakland. Now, if you ask me, Lovell crashed out, but it do feel good to see the law take a loss. Now, let's get into the story. Y'all check this shit out.
In 2009, a quiet Saturday afternoon in Oakland, California, spiraled into one of the deadliest days in law enforcement's history. A 2-hour police manhunt that led to a bloody shootout and involved just one man, Lovelle Mixon. Lovell Sean Mixon was born on September 11, 1982, in San Francisco, California. His early years were spent growing up in neighborhoods where the immediate pressures of street life came at a young age. By age 13, Lovell already had a police record, arrested multiple times for assault and battery. By age 20, he was in state prison, sentenced to 6 years for a brutal carjacking, where the victim was robbed, shot at, and pistol whipped. But by early 2009, Lovelle Mixon had been released from prison. As part of his parole conditions, he was required to check in regularly with his parole officer. But after several failed attempts to report, a no-bail warrant was issued for his arrest. So when Lovell saw the flashing lights of 2 motorcycle cops behind him, he only had seconds to make a decision. Lovell decided he wasn't going back to prison. It was March 21st, 2009, around 1 p.m. Lovell was driving his 1995 burgundy Buick sedan through East Oakland, with a semi-automatic pistol in the passenger seat next to him. Motorcycle officers Mark Dunnican and John Hedge initiated what appeared to be a routine stop for an expired registration. However, without warning, Lovell leaned out the car window with the semi-automatic pistol in his hand and opened fire. Both officers fell immediately, neither having a chance to draw their weapons or radio for help. Lovell then got out of his car, stood over the fallen officers, and fired additional rounds at close range, making sure they were both dead. Lovelle Mixon then ran from the scene. Within minutes of the shooting, the streets of East Oakland transformed into a maze of police tape, SWAT teams, and armored vehicles. Over 200 officers from multiple agencies descended on the area. However, the absence of a senior Oakland police officer at the scene meant that Lovelle Mixon had a 90-minute head start. While officers conducted door-to-door searches, a local woman, she had recognized the burgundy Buick and knew Lovelle's sister lived in a 2-bedroom apartment just a block from where the motorcycle officers were shot. SWAT teams were dispatched to the area.
See, this is how old people get killed. Innocent bystanders. Why the fuck is you sticking your head outside the door when some bullshit is going on that don't concern your ass? Why the fuck is your old ass talking to the police and giving out locations? If you want to live to see 80 years old, I advise you, mind your own fucking business, old lady. Now, let's get back into the story.
While officers conducted door-to-door searches, a local woman, she had recognized the burgundy Buick and knew Lovelle's sister lived in a 2-bedroom apartment just a block from where the motorcycle officers were shot. SWAT teams were dispatched to the area. Inside the apartment, Lovell had acquired an SKS carbine, a military-style rifle, far more powerful than the handgun he'd used in the initial shooting. At 3:02 p.m., the SWAT team made their move into the apartment, using flashbang grenades to breach the door. What happened next unfolded in mere seconds. Lovell ambushed the team, firing through the wall and door of the bedroom where he had concealed himself. Sergeant Irvin Romans was struck immediately, suffering fatal wounds. But the SWAT team carried on, forcing Lovell to retreat to the bedroom. Sergeant Daniel Sakai entered the bedroom, where Lovell fired one shot to the officer's head, killing him instantly. The remaining SWAT team officers returned fire, and at 3:20 p.m., a little over 2 hours after the initial shooting, LOVELLE MIXON was pronounced dead. In the days following the shootings, the streets of Oakland fell into an uneasy quiet. The deaths of Mark Dunnican, John Hedge, Irvin Romans, and Daniel Sakai represented one of the deadliest days in law enforcement in California's history. But while thousands mourned the fallen officers, a different narrative emerged in some parts of East Oakland. A rally drew a small but vocal group who viewed Lovell's actions not as criminal, but as a desperate resistance against police oppression. Many of Lovell's family members were in attendance at the rally, including his sister, who spoke about her brother to the press, saying that he was not a monster. The California State Attorney, however, called Lovell a one-man destruction force. In the years following the shootings, residents of the community said that after the LOVELLE MIXON incident, the city of Oakland was just different, though they couldn't quite explain why.
This shit kind of sound like some movie shit. Matter of fact, this remind me of Set It Off, when the SWAT team went and go raided old boy apartment for robbing a bank. But when the SWAT team got there, old boy was in the closet with a machine gun and ambushed those niggas, killed like 4 or 5 officers. But y'all give me your thoughts in the comment box, man. Y'all think Lovell crashed out? I think Lovell didn't want to go back to prison. I think he was scared to go back for some reason. I feel like Lovell rather to die than go back. You know, everybody got a breaking point in life. You know, you've been through a lot. Sometimes in life you want to give up. Sometimes in life people crash out. You know, and Lovell, he crashed out, but he crashed out with a fight. That shit feel good to see an officer lose a life. I hate the police. I hate the law. And that shit feel good to me to see the law take a loss. Now, I salute LOVELLE MIXON. I salute that nigga. He died with honor. He died in honor. A real gangster. Killed 4 officers before he left this earth. I fuck with that. He died with a Purple Heart. R.I.P. LOVELLE MIXON. A real nigga with a Purple Heart. But y'all give me your thoughts in the comment box. Like, comment, subscribe. It's the voice of the trenches. I speak facts, not rumors, and I got a whole lot of shit to speak on. What's right is right. What's wrong is wrong. I'm him, not them, and I'm not scared to say what everybody else is scared to say. Y'all tap the fuck in.